Welcome to the Real Estate Scripts Podcast, the show that helps you know what to say when you're talking to buyers and sellers so that you can close more deals and earn more money. I'm Darren Tunstall, a real estate professional, coach, and #1 best-selling author. Let's get into this. Before we begin today's episode, I want to clarify some important points. I am a licensed real estate agent and my DRE number is 018534445. It's crucial to note that this podcast operates independently of my affiliation with Keller Williams Realty and any realtor associations. My primary goal with this podcast is to provide you, our listeners, with valuable information, insights, and practical tools. As a reminder, the purpose of Scripts and Dialogues is to come, learn, practice, and be prepared to fail forward. This is where we make mistakes and help each other out, but we're mostly interested in seeing how we can get better. First, we read through the script word for word, and then we go back and put it into our own natural tone, style, and phrasing. You won't know what to say until you go through the script. So, with that said, many people will say, that's not how I sound, and I totally get it. That's not how you sound. But that is the reason why we practice every day, so that the script becomes you and in your own voice. So, read it word for word first, then go back and put it into your own natural tone, style, and phrasing, and I think it'll work out. Let's go ahead and get started with what we're practicing today, and that is the seller interview sheet. There are two scripts that go with this, or two documents. One is the actual sheet itself, which is when you click on that one, it'll just say seller interview sheet. And that's what the form looks like. So this is a form that you should have in front of you when you're talking to a client, maybe if you're on the phone with them, even before a meeting, while you're in the meeting, you're constantly collecting more and more information about them so that you can create a very well documented file for this particular seller. And the next button there is the seller interview script. The way that this works is these are in alignment with all the questions that are on the seller interview sheet. So the reason why I created this is because if you don't know what to ask or how to ask, then I just wrote out all the questions verbatim in order of the seller interview sheet. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. So is this a pre-qualification script?
So what it is, and I'll just go ahead and set this up right now. I'll just read exactly what we're doing. In this scenario, you are the listing agent conducting an initial seller's interview with a homeowner. Your objective is to ask questions, understand their motivations, and establish a connection. Requirements are communication skills, organizational skills, market knowledge, and adaptability. The intention is to guide you in a structured dialogue for initial seller's interview, helping you gather essential information, understand motivations, and build rapport efficiently. When you look at these particular questions on here, there's some information there that you may or may already know. Like, for example, if it was a referral, who was the referral? And you might just fill that in. You know, what's their name? What's their property address? Do they have a different address, for example, like an owner's address? What's their cell phone, email, other information about them? And then you go down the list of questions here. How many bedrooms is it? How many bathrooms? How many stories? How many square feet? Is there a pool or a spa? You know, have you signed a contract with another agent? Yes or no? That's kind of a weird question to ask, but I'm going to leave it there because if they're there with you, they shouldn't have, but you never know. Or a question is like, are they interviewing? You know, is the property still for sale? You kind of already going to know that some of that question. This might be an expired, for example. So you never know where it's coming from. Why are you selling? And then you're just going down the list and you're asking these different questions and you're filling in the blanks on a separate note sheet or in a file that you have going on, maybe in your command or your CRM system, whatever that you're using to document files for your clients. But this is everything that you should ask in that initial interview. Some questions you might not get in the interview immediately. Some you might get down the road in a couple of other ways, but you just go and update your file. So it's a simple way to just talk to the client. They may be calling in, they may be interviewing you over the phone or talking to you over the phone. Does that make sense?
That's why I asked if this was a pre-qualification script. These
Um, I
questions don't make much sense if you're already sitting down and you've pre-qualified.
well, I've been to appointments where I've sat down with people, asked them a bunch of questions, and discovered that I did not want to work with them thereafter. And there are many situations where I've worked with people where, finding out this information has been very helpful in taking on that listing and going in and filling it up and setting it up right. You can determine how you want to use it and how useful you're going to make it for your own scenario. But it is a script, and doing a seller interview is something that you absolutely should be asking. There's no doubt. Stephanie, you do a couple of listings here and there. How many do you use a interview sheet form?
I don't, but I do feel like it would be helpful. Sometimes I will be developing rapport. I think usually with my initial sit down, I like it to be more about developing the relationship and the rapport. Um, and I find that I sometimes miss some information. Um, and then I have to go back and ask them, which again isn't a big deal, but it would be, I think, more professional of me to get it all done in one swoop instead of having to go back and ask them.
Yeah. Yeah. Having this available to you is super critical, and I think that is going to be useful. So why don't we practice this? I'll create a breakout room, and we'll bring you. We'll do this and see how it goes. But you are fact finding and asking information about the home, about the pin, about them in general. So let's go ahead and break out. Let's have Stephanie be the agent first. Jim is going to be either your prospective seller or not. It could be a referral. You don't have to fill in all the information. You can assume that you already have some information if you want.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so when you're ready.
Um, hey Jim, this is Stephanie Grinnin. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Stephanie. Good to hear from you.
That's great. Good. I am looking forward to helping you sell your home. I just have a few questions that I'd like to go over with you. This will help give me an idea about your current situation and what your needs and motivations are. Would that be okay with you?
Sure.
Great. Just to start off, I have to ask, have you signed a contract with any other agent or have you already interviewed agents?
I talked to Sally Smith.
Oh, to Sally Smith. Okay, and this property is still available. You haven't signed any contracts with her, correct?
Correct.
Perfect. So, Jim, let me ask you, why are you selling your home today? Or why are you interested in selling your home?
I'm moving to Maine.
Oh, Maine. I love Maine. It's so beautiful there. Well, I understand. How long have you owned this home? And have you made any improvements that may not show up, like updating the kitchens or baths or redoing the roof anytime recently?
Well, I've owned it for 14 years and yeah, redid the baths and did put on a new roof about 5 years ago.
Great. That's fantastic to know. And can you provide more details on the age of the appliances? This, if you have solar, the air conditioning and HVAC system. This will help potential buyers with any questions that they might have. And knowing this information will help me be able to communicate that to them as their questions come up a lot faster.
Yeah, the appliances are, well, bought them when I moved in. Um, Roof, as I said, was about 5 years ago. There's no solar. Um, House has AC, but it's older.
Okay. Okay. Great. That gives me a really good idea about how to how to answer their questions. Uh, so what are your plans for the property if the house doesn't sell quickly?
I'll probably rent it.
Okay, great. Great. And let me ask you, what price point do you have in mind for your home? This will help us compare the other houses in the price range.
Around 750.
750. Great.
That's what Zillow says anyway.
That's what Zillow says? Okay, well, Zillow can give you a decent idea based on other sales in the neighborhood, but this is why I'm here. I will give you and we can come up with a strategy together for a better price point for your home based on its conditions and its location in your micro neighborhood.
Okay.
And Jim, let me ask you, are you interviewing any other agents besides Sally Smith and myself?
Amanda Johnson.
Amanda Johnson. Yes, I have heard of her. Great. Well, I hope that I'm come out on top. So Jim, let me ask you, when would you like to list your home?
Within the next week.
Within the next week. So you're ready to go. You've done all your decluttering, and I can start getting you the paperwork immediately so that you can fill out the the paperwork that we need before we list your home. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you already purchase your home in Maine?
No, but that won't be a problem.
Okay. So you're not necessarily waiting for the sale of this house in order to purchase your home in Maine, or are you?
Well, I don't plan to buy one in Maine, so there's nothing stopping me from moving.
Great. Okay. Good. That's really good information. So the sale of the house is not going to hold you up in any fashion. Well, let's go ahead and make an appointment to meet and have me come out to your house so that I can really gauge how it how it compares to all the other listings that have sold in the area. We can come up with a strategic plan for marketing and a really strategic price point for entry into the market. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Great. How does tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. sound to you?
I can't make it at 11 a.m.
Okay. What time works for you?
Let's say if it's tomorrow, it's got to be after 6.
Okay. Why don't I come and meet you around either 6:30 or 7? Which one works best for you?
Probably 7.
7? Great. I'll see you tomorrow at 7. I look forward to seeing your home and to meeting you in person.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Thanks so much, Jim.
In this particular case, yes, it is pre-qualifying the seller to get to a point. Because I will tell you, asking some of these questions beforehand can really give you a good idea whether you want to go out there or not. And if they are interviewing a bunch of people and they've already signed, then obviously it's pointless to go out there if they've already signed.
For sure.
Yes.
So
Yes. I,
go ahead.
it felt a little clunky to me. I did not read it through before doing it, and I initially thought that I was in person, and then I realized that I was not. I was over the phone, so it was yeah. It was a little clunky, but that's why we do it.
And I could have done a better job at saying let's lead from the perspective as if you're like that last question. Let's go ahead and make an appointment to meet with you. Like going from the perspective of you're determining, like you are meeting these people for the first time. They may be calling in, they may have been referred to you, they may have, filled out a form on your website. You might have met them at a party or something like that. And knowing some of these particular questions, you don't have to go through all the details. For example, if you're at a party, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what area, things like that. You grab the information. Let's go ahead and schedule something for next week. I'll put this stuff together over the weekend, and then we'll meet up. How does that sound? And then you bring the file, and then you finish it off there as well. Because some of these things, for example, when you're asking about, ages of appliances and roofs and solar, and does it have, HVAC, things like that. Some of these details are also the details that you're going to be using in your the property description, and maybe putting them into the remarks, whether they're public or confidential. So, all this information is very much needed to help, the buyers determine whether they are going to make an offer or not. Eventually, it's
Yeah.
going to come up. It will come up eventually. So let's go from that perspective. Jim, when you're ready.
Sure, I'm gonna look at it as a pre-qualification.
All right.
To me, it makes more sense that way. Because I probably would want to know all these things before I even go out.
Yeah.
I agree. One place we can find this is once we have the address is to pull up the tax records too, and you can find a lot of information in the tax records.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just becomes confirming and verifying. But yeah, however, whatever approach you want to take, when you're ready.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay.
Hi, Stephanie. This is Jim. How are you today?
Hi, Jim. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Good to talk to you. I'm
Nice to talk
looking
to you as
forward to
well.
helping you sell your home, and I just have a few questions that will help me prepare for our eventual meeting. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
Good. This will give me an idea about your current situation and what your needs and motivations are. So to start out, the obvious question, have you already signed with another agent?
I have not.
All right, so then the property is still available.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. So Stephanie, a big question. Why have you decided to sell?
Well, I think that it's time for us to move to a smaller home. Our kids have grown, and my youngest one is now in college, and we think we want something different.
Well, how exciting. Good for you. It must be a great feeling to start looking at the next chapter of your life.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's exciting.
Good. Glad to hear it. Well, I'm hoping to share that excitement with you. Looking forward to it. Stephanie, how long have you owned this home?
We have been here for 12 years.
12 years. Got it. And have you made any big improvements that might not show up in an outside picture, like updating kitchens, baths, anything along that line?
Not we did update the bathrooms. We were considering updating the kitchen. We did get some new appliances in there, but the countertops are still old.
Yes.
And we resurfaced the pool.
All right. No room additions, anything along those lines.
No,
And so you said that the appliances are newer.
the appliances are newer. I think we got our appliances maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Great. And I'm not sure, I may have missed it. Did you say you've done any roof work?
No, we had a roofer come out and we had a few of our Spanish tiles replaced, but the roof seems to be in pretty good condition, and he said that we didn't need to do anything.
Outstanding. The tile roofs are just, they're amazing, aren't they?
They
Beautiful.
really are.
And do you have solar or air conditioning, anything like
We
that?
we do not have solar, nor do we have air conditioning, but the vents are there. We do have the forced heat. Or forced heat, we have central heat. I don't know.
Yeah, forced
Yeah,
air heat, sure. And how old is your furnace?
probably 10 or 15 years old. I don't know. I can't remember.
Okay. Did you put it in or was it there when you moved in?
It was there when we moved in.
Understood. So where are you planning on moving to? You said, are you going to stay in the immediate area?
We're considering staying in the immediate area, but we are also open to moving to North County.
Ah, something completely different. Any particular
Yeah,
reason for North County?
it's quiet up there. It's nice. The beaches are really nice. We've always kind of tossed the idea around, so
Uh-huh.
we're tossing it around some more.
All right. And now here's a tough question. What are your plans if the property doesn't sell?
We'll probably rent it out and just keep it for a while in case the kids want to visit or whatnot. But if we can cash out now while the market is, you know, the way it is, then I think we'll do that.
Great. And are you looking to buy on the other end or are you planning to rent first?
I think we'd like to buy.
Do you need to sell in order to buy?
We don't have to. It would be better if we did, but we don't have to.
Sure, it'd be a lot more convenient,
Yes.
without a doubt. But not
Easier
needing,
financially, but not necessary.
all right, good. Because not needing to puts you in a much stronger position in the marketplace. What is your,
Yeah.
what's your time frame for moving?
We are not in a rush.
So when it happens kind of thing?
Yeah, if the right deal comes along, the right deal comes along.
All right. And what would you consider the right deal?
A lot of money.
No doubt about that. But do you have a number in mind?
We were thinking somewhere around 1,300,000.
Got it. Okay. And that'll give me a starting point as I look for what's going on in your neighborhood. Are you aware of what homes are selling for in your neighborhood?
Yes, I think that that is not astronomical for our neighborhood.
Good. You're in a good spot.
It's not bad. Yeah. San
Yeah,
Diego seems to be hot. So,
it definitely is. The one great thing about San Diego is it's kind of hemmed in, so they're not making more land, but they are making more people. Stephanie, are you planning to interview more than one agent for the job of selling your home?
we are. We have two other agents who are really big in the neighborhood, and we were going to interview them as well, but I didn't want to rely on just the people who always sell in our neighborhood. I wanted to get, some other people in here to see what their thoughts are.
Okay, good thinking. And the reason is sometimes when people spend all of their time in the neighborhood, they don't have a big enough reach outside of the neighborhood. And what you're looking for is the highest price for your home, right?
Yes.
Right. You don't care if the buyer comes from India, China, or next door, does
Nope, I do not care.
it? Absolutely. And so we'll go over what marketing plan for maximum reach looks like. Fair enough?
That sounds great.
All right. And when are you prepared to list and get started?
Well, we do have some decluttering to do, so I'd say in the next month, if that
Next month.
if that's a good time to sell.
Well, almost any time these days is a good time to sell. One of the things that we'll do when we're together, I'll take a walk through the home, maybe make some suggestions as to repairs or perhaps a paint. Who knows? I haven't seen the house. Does that make sense?
It does.
And my general feeling is if you're going to spend $1, you should be getting $3 back. So I'm not gonna ask you to do things that are economically silly. Fair enough?
That sounds great. Good.
All right, so let's go ahead and meet. One thing I want to ask you, you said we, so is there somebody else involved in this decision?
The hubs. Yes.
Okay, great. And let's make an appointment when he's going to be available as well, shall we?
Sounds good.
I have time tomorrow at 1 or on Wednesday at 5, which is better for you folks.
Thank you.
Let's do tomorrow at 1.
All right, very good.
Great. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. See you then.
See you then.
All right. Everybody get an appointment?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So obviously this whole thing it's an interview and it is 9 o'clock also. Just want to make sure everybody knows that. But we are interviewing these sellers to determine whether we want to move forward. And we're also collecting information for when we move forward, then we have this information readily available so that, this is an interview. And basically in this interview, we're determining whether we want to work with them or not. One, and two is when we do decide that we want to work with them, we're also collecting information about the property itself, and we use that in the marketing. So any input is also what I ask. Anything anybody want to add?
Yeah, I should have asked the question. If you, despite the fact that Plenty interviewed 2 other agents, if you like what I have to say and you feel comfortable, are you ready to go ahead when we meet tomorrow?
Yeah, that's a
Good
great.
question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Has anybody here had to make the phone call in someone else's in the seller's behalf also? So say for example, you're at the meeting and they're like, well, I really want to interview the other 2 people because I feel pretty bad about it. And I told them I'd give them a chance. The script goes, that's great. But we feel comfortable now, and I'm comfortable calling those other agents and telling them that you've decided to go with me. Has anybody ever had to make that call?
That
Yeah.
would be a hard call for me to make.
Would it?
I would love the
Well,
opportunity to make it.
I mean, it depends on the agent, though.
Yeah. If they were willing to sign with you as long as you made that call, how difficult or easy would it be for you to make that call then?
I mean, I would probably be mad or ticked off if somebody called me and told me they got the listing over me. I mean, I would be upset because
You
I
would
would
be on the receiving end, right? You would be upset.
right. That way, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to get in front of that person. Because I feel that if I can get in front of someone, I can convert them.
So you're talking from the perspective of another agent having the opportunity to go through that presentation. But I'm saying if you're the agent in the presentation, if you're the agent giving the presentation
Right.
and they said, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. But I need you to call these other 2 people and tell them that I'm going with you because I really don't want to make that call because they're going to sign with you. And
Right.
I get how the other people feel, but here's the point. The point is if they go out and meet with those other people and they like what they said too and sign with them, then how are you going to feel if you didn't take that opportunity to call those other 2 agents when you had that opportunity in front of you?
I mean, that's a good point.
I don't care how the other agents are gonna feel. I've had plenty of times when I call a seller to confirm and they tell me they've already gone somewhere else. It's part of the game. It's the way it goes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just making a point, like to Jim's point is, hey, if you like what I have to say, are you going to be willing to go with me? And if they truly are in that presentation, be prepared to make that phone call, to take it to another level, to take it to a different
Right.
script. But I understand because It does happen. How do you feel about that? But, this is not a feelings game. This is more of an
Right.
a logical game. You follow the system and not let emotions get involved with the logic of the business.
Sure.
Well, especially in the scenario that Stephanie set forth. In my neighborhood, there are two agents who dominate and do probably 80% of the listings. So if I were coming in from the outside, my chances are slim. So if I can't get some response that I'm more than just a radish, why would I care? Why do I want to go?
Right.
Right. Yeah. If there is a window of opportunity, though, take it. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. There's nothing wrong with being in a presentation and if they want to sign with you to call those other agents and let them know. In fact, it's a courtesy to them so that they're not wasting their time either. It's a professional courtesy from
Right.
professional to professional.
I think Mike Ferry's line used to be, I'll call the other agents, and God, this is from many years ago, and tell them that your home is now available to sell.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, spin them positively. If they have buyers like they said they did, then they can sell
Exactly. Yeah,
Mhm.
like they said they did. And that's the other part of it. That goes down integrity to ethics and things like that. We already talked about that in the past. But if you really, really have buyers, then awesome, great. But don't go off and tell people that you have buyers just to get the listing. I
Mhm.
That's like a pet peeve of mine. I mean, everybody has buyers. We can throw it up on the MLS and there's a whole pool of buyers.
Right.
All right, we are way past the time. Have another appointment coming up, but anything else to add, Yuri? I see you're still on.
Yes, I'm fine. I think this was a great practice. And
Hmm.
definitely we can use that seller interview sheet when we have a listing, right? And then we can add up more things as we see the property.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, this is what this is here for. Everything on here you can use, you can take it, just don't sell it for
Okay.
money.
No,
Um,
it will be
down,
for me, just for me.
yeah, it is for you. Yeah, for everybody who participates here and comes through the right route, is has access to all this information and you can use it for your business. It's when people start passing it around to other people and trying to sell it and all that type of stuff that makes me, like want to kick you off. But I don't think we're gonna have that problem with anybody.
No.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I haven't had that problem at all, so we don't need to start now. But that
Yes.
was good. So yeah, just a little bit, and you might want to take this and even create your own for that matter. You can
Sure.
take some of this and rewrite it and add more questions and think about different perspectives. For example, this could be a cold calling script. This could be a script for
Mm,
calling expired listings and qualifying them. This could be talking to somebody who was referred to you.
Hmm.
It's all about what perspective. But the point is to have an arsenal of questions to be able to ask. And so that when those scenarios do arise, then you know what questions that you can have
Hmm.
or ask in order to get to an appointment is really
Right.
what you're
yes.
interviewing them.
Absolutely.
Great.
I
Amazing.
would use it as as a FISBO script as well.
Absolutely. Yes. It
Great.
applies to all these scenarios.
Yep.
All right, so that's the script. I hope that you found it useful. Just head over to realestatescriptspractice.com for more resources and downloads. This content is for educational purposes only and does not make any guarantees. We suggest you seek the help and or advice of your broker, coach, mentor, office manager, attorney, and or financial advisor. Brought to you by Darren Tunstall, a licensed real estate agent, DRE number 018534445. This content operates independently of Darren's affiliation with Keller Williams Realty and any realtor associations. The intention is to provide you with valuable information insights, and practical tools. Please note that all results may vary and participants are responsible for their own actions.